Artlist.io.
Hello, and welcome to Dreamcatcher, the Love Podcast. My name is Nilla, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist and relationship coach. I travel the world helping people to learn the skills they need to have happy and healthy relationships.
And I'm Big Sexy, her loving husband and co-host, here to provide levity.
Levity and maybe brevity. Depends on the day. So, yeah, today's topic was actually sparked, I don't even know if I told you this, from our encounter at a friend's house party recently.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we
were...
no.
Oh, no.
I mean, no.
Oh, no. Oh,
not
no.
A party.
Oh, no.
Not a party.
Not that event. No.
Yeah, no, that event.
Oh, no, you didn't tell me.
No, I didn't tell you. So, as can happen when we hang out together, which is surprisingly not as often as I'd like it to be.
Right. Agreed.
But when we get a chance to hang out together and our schedules actually coincide and we can hang out with friends, inevitably people will ask us the question of how we meet.
Right.
So, we were having a great time. We were talking about how we meet. And then someone asked a really insightful question. We sometimes get this question, but it's pretty rare. And that question was, has there ever been a time when you guys felt like you were going to break up, you were not going to be together,
right.
and that it was over?
Right.
And if you're in a long-term committed partnership or marriage and someone asks you that question, there's almost this look of like this deep sudden introspection of oh yeah, oh my God, oh yeah, right? I don't know, maybe you're one of those lucky folks that, never had that experience, that I never thought that, this would not last, this would not work, we're not right for each other. But we've had quite a few of those times.
Yes, we did.
And I would wager that most couples have those occasions
right.
where whoa, was this the right decision? Is this the right person? Do I need to, take another path? And so today I wanted to talk about the skills necessary. We talk about skills a lot, but for this is kind of one of those key skills that you have to have if you want to be in long-term committed partnership.
Yes. I would like to say that if you would like to hear about how we met, you can check out our episode entitled Meet Cute.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
So you'll hear the story there. So we didn't really get into details of what those repairs had looked like.
Right.
But it got me thinking that, there are some really key skills that I think most folks know about how to build relationship. But one that we really have to work on because it's between two people is repair. And so that's why I wanted to talk about repair today.
Okay.
And the first question I think is repair what? Right. I think people fight for all different kinds of reasons. So the first thing I did was just look at what are some core disagreements that people have a tendency to have as relationships evolve. And there's a scale that we use across different disciplines in mental health. That is the romantic relationship scale.
Okay.
Reasons for disagreements in the romantic relationship scale. Where folks can start to gauge where they are having particular struggle. So I thought it'd be kind of fun.
Okay.
Not that we're going to do the scale.
Oh, okay.
That takes, that's boring. Nobody wants to hear this. That's good internal work if you want to do that. Go on ahead and look it up if you want to do that. But for us, I thought we might just go through this list of 30 reasons and see if we've ever clashed over these reasons.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be fun, right?
This will be very interesting.
Yeah, and we don't have to get into super detail because, I don't know, as we talk about trust and building boundaries, part of that is, what we keep in the vault versus what we share with the world. So Sorry, guys, this is going to be maybe not as juicy as you're hoping it's going to be. But I do want to just give folks an idea of, when they look at a relationship that has a strong, solid foundation, what are some of the struggles you had to get to and get through to get there, right?
Okay.
So let's start with...
Here we go. Y'all didn't see I got geared up and ready for the conversation because this is out of the blue for me. I don't know what's coming up.
So I don't know why you feel like you're going into battle, but that's what you look like you're doing. Okay, so number one, things that people disagree with in relationship is not showing enough love or affection. Is that something that you think we have been through in our 12-year history together?
I don't think so.
No.
Well, we often show our love and affection for one another.
We do.
Yeah. Daily, multiple daily.
We do now.
I'd say we did before. We just tell each other we love each other every day.
There was a period of time. Podcasting is unpredictable, y'all. There was a period of time, and I think you know the period of time that I'm referring to.
I have a feeling, yes.
Right. And during that period of time, I felt like there was not enough genuine love and affection. I think that there was... Oh, this is going to sound terrible. I think there was a lot of lip service during that time where those words were like said, but I don't think that at that time I actually felt like I had enough love or affection from you at that time. So I would say yes, you would say no. And number one, we are starting off with the disagreements.
Right, there you go.
So there you go.
Right off the bat.
Also important to know, right? And we're going to talk about how to repair some of these things. I guess we'll talk about that in the repair section, right? But like having disagreements is not the challenge. I want to be really clear at the outset. These are disagreements that people will have. We're not special. We're not exempt.
We're not a magical couple.
No. And most people are going to engage this at some point. I'd say overall, this has not been an issue in our relationship.
Right.
But there were certainly a period of time.
I can see that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Number two, lack of communication.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, that's
yeah, I think we both, I won't say both. I think for me, I sometimes fall into mind reading where I think I know what you're going to say or what you're going to do. And so therefore I don't have to actually ask you about it because I already know. And then I behave accordingly. That's a clear lack of communication. Something that I think we have, through a lot of hard work and some supportive therapy, figured out how to get away from.
Yeah, and I also realized that I was single for the longest time, so I wasn't used to having to tell somebody else something.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And so, again, through therapy and stuff like that, I did have to learn how to be a better communicator. I've always thought I'm a pretty good communicator. But, there are certain aspects that I really had to work on and get better at.
Right.
Also, even now, like I worry that I kind of thought that I'm afraid that I'm gonna slip back into old habits.
I've been maybe clocking that a little bit.
I'm not
recently.
communicating,
sure.
And so when I have that feeling, I go, "Oh no, hey, you worked on this. Get back to it. Keep that up. You don't want to fall back into those habits."
Seriously, it's like any other skill that if you do not exercise it, it's like a muscle. If you don't exercise it, it goes away. Right. You got to use it in order to keep it. So great. Thanks for paying attention to that. I appreciate it. Number three is not paying enough attention to the other person. That is something that we have had the unfortunate, I think on both sides really, of not being free to pay a lot of attention. Folks who know me know I am a workaholic in the 5th degree. I love what I do, and so I spend a lot of time. I spend a lot of focus. I put a lot of brain power around that. And there can be times where that just takes over. So let's continue on, right?
Okay, yes.
Let's
not dive too deep into every single one.
Right. Okay. So not being appreciated. We've definitely had that.
Yep.
This one's interesting. It just says feelings.
Disagreement on feelings?
Disagreements on feelings.
Yeah, I mean, how does anybody not have that?
You would be amazed. One, there are often times when folks will say things like, "You don't really feel that way. You're just saying that." There's a lot of space for invalidation around feelings.
Okay.
because they are subjective, because they are in the other person's body and their own experience.
Right.
People disagree about like why you feel that way. Should you feel that way?
Right.
It's wrong that you feel that way. Right. So yeah, feelings definitely comes up.
Right.
Jealousy. I get jealous.
Yeah, I don't.
Which is infuriating.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I've always. I mean, jealousy's always been one I just feel like is a wasted emotion.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's a waste of emotion. It's just here's the thing. It's just an emotion.
It's an emotion.
Right? It's not a waste of an emotion. Our emotions are there for a reason. They are there to help us to check in about what's happening in our environment and in our world and our experience and how we are actually experiencing our life. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't say any emotion is a wasted emotion.
Here's my.
Let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But it's a wasted emotion. But I also think that jealousy in a lot of cultures is given like a kind of primacy, that it is an emotion that indicates one thing, and that emotion indicates that something's super wrong. And that's not the case. It's just an emotion. Just like one day I can wake up feeling anxious, or one day something can make me feel happy, right? My environment and things that happen in my environment might cause me to feel the emotion of jealousy. And that's okay. We don't have to fight about it. Right? Yeah. But I do get to have it, and it's not a waste.
Yeah.
Now you were saying?
I was just going to say, well, this is how I was not really raised, but my belief system around it was just that, jealousy for me stems from a desire to control,
maybe,
an ownership, if you will, of a person.
It depends, right? I think that it's too like any emotion, right? It's too broad to just be like it's this thing,
right?
To me, I mean, you can language it however it fits for you, but for me, it's like saying, for me, sadness is just the fact that something bad is happening. Well, I mean, kind of. A little bit. I mean, sure. Yes.
Right.
But it also can indicate a lot of different things. And there's a lot of shades of what that looks like.
Right.
So to me, I think jealousy is kind of this one big thing. And people make a meaning of the thing.
Yeah, I've always felt like an outsider in that sense. Because, I know almost everybody I know has been jealous of one thing or another. Mm-hmm. And like I get, because we're talking about relationships, I mean specifically within relationships, not necessarily of like, I see somebody with a yacht. I feel that little jealous urge.
So they get jealousy and I don't get jealousy. I feel like
because
I should get your jealousy.
Because that is a product.
I know, I'm just kidding. I'm literally just playing.
Yeah. But if you need me to feel jealous,
I don't. I really don't. I'm actually really glad that you don't, because I've had jealous partners in the past.
Right.
And there's always a tipping point, right? Where it's kind of like, oh, that's cute. Oh, this is maybe a little psycho. Right? So, all in good time.
All right, next.
So I think these all kind of stem from jealousy. Talking to exes or staying in connection with exes is a thing that people disagree about. Right. Possessiveness, past relationships.
Yeah, I think this should be like written more as an outline.
Well, here's the interesting thing is that these at the end of this, I'm going to break it out into basically 6 basic sections. 6 or 7 basic sections for I like to think of it as like little bucket, big bucket. Right. So right now we're talking about the little buckets, and we'll bring out the big buckets in just a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So little bucket, past relationships, whose friends we hang out with more. Because I don't know, people bring independent friend groups, right? Which I think is super healthy. Housekeeping.
Hey, check out episode 9 of Rainbow Dreamcatcher. We're talking all about housekeeping.
Absolutely. Under that heading, you've got things like chores, who does more work, how do you share those responsibilities?
Right.
Here's one that comes up too that people think of as a small thing, and it depends on the person whether or not it's a small thing. Mm-hmm. And that's tardiness, being late, not showing up when I'm supposed to show up to things. Mm-hmm. Now, for some folks, not such a big deal. I think for us, it's kind of loosey-goosey. It's not a huge deal between us because we have some fluidity around our time. But for folks that don't have fluidity around their time, that's a big deal that you're not showing up when you say you're going to show up.
I learned to table how big of a deal it is for me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
We learned something. What
now? Internally, it is a big deal to me.
Is it really?
It is, yeah. Oh. But
I wish you said something.
I do say things.
Like what?
I often say things, and it doesn't. I learned a long time when you say it once, it doesn't change. You say it one more time, doesn't change. You learn how to.
So you said this once 12 years ago, and then twice 12 years ago, and then you never said it again.
Because the things aren't going to shift, aren't going to change. You're like, oh, I guess that's just the way it's going to be. Yeah.
All right, so I'm learning about myself here on the podcast, y'all. Not sure how I feel about that. Let's continue on. Let's talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
There's the people who one person wants to have sex, the other person doesn't. That's a disagreement, or can be a disagreement.
I don't think we've ever had that issue. Have we ever had the issue where one person did and the other person did not? Absolutely did not. I guess we have.
Yeah.
We have run into that.
We have run into that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. The frequency of sex, how frequently we engage in that activity, what kinds of sexual acts we want to participate in. Either, I want to do the thing and you don't want to do the thing.
Right.
Or I want you to do the thing and you do the thing wrong.
Or you're trying to surprise me with the thing.
Right.
We need to talk about the thing ahead of time.
I wish you could just go talk to Chad. Chad knew how to do the thing.
Oh, that's the start of an argument. Let's unpack that. Let's go back into that jealousy thing.
You know that thing? I need you to go ahead and hit a Leroy. I need you to hit a Jill. I need you to understand how to do this thing. And they know.
They did it right. They can give you some pointers, some tips. You know how to do that to me. Yeah.
So, yes, obviously something we fight about frequently. No, we don't.
No.
Telling my private information about the relationship to other people whose business it is not.
I think we have avoided that because we have talked about that prior.
I think we avoided that because when we were in crisis, we were very selective and careful about who we talked to about that crisis.
Right.
Not that we've never shared personal information with other folks,
right.
But I think we've been very, very, very judicious in how we do it, when we do it. We have very clear reasons, right? So we're not just out here, running our business,
right?
Except on this podcast.
But
that's right, colorful humans.
But if
you want to get the drama, it's on the podcast.
All you need to do is ask. You should ask.
Just ask.
You want to get some drama? Ask.
But yeah, so I don't think we have that problem. In-laws. No, in-laws have been great.
Yeah.
So this is the part that I really wanted to know about.
Okay.
And this is all about power.
All right.
Who's boss? Who's in control? What does dominance look like?
All right. So.
I want to hear. I gotta know.
All right. I would say that we do not have a disagreement on that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Colorful humans, who do you think is the dominant partner in our
I'm sure y'all know already. And if you spend any time with us, you know who it is.
Okay, so I can't wait because I'm gonna ask the follow-up off podcast.
I'll put it in on Spotify. It'll be the poll.
It'll be the poll.
Yeah. Also the question, and I'll follow up on social media.
Because I don't know that I know the answer to that question.
All right, we'll this is getting juicy. I like this.
So I'm curious if you have met us or if you've gotten a sense of who we are through listening through our podcast, Colorful Humans. Go ahead and take a moment and complete the poll that is going to be showing up with this link.
If you're listening on Spotify or if you are on social medias, go to at Rainbow Dreamcatcher, the Love Pod on Instagram. I think we also have a Twitter account, maybe. I don't know. It'll also show up.
We don't. Twitter doesn't exist.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It'll also show up on our Facebook group, Rainbow Dreamcatcher, the Love Podcast, so you can join that group there, and that poll will be in there as well.
Absolutely. So,
and we'll tabulate the votes, and in a few episodes we'll revisit that as well.
Yeah, let's run through these last few
right.
so we can start to talk about how do we actually address these things, right? So there's what to wear. Nope, never had an issue with that.
Nope.
Religion. Nope. Never had an issue with that.
Mm-mm.
Goals in life.
No, I don't think we've had a disagreement.
I don't think we've had a disagreement about it. I know we had some differing views.
We've joked about you not funding my mixtape.
That's true.
But that's only a joke because I don't plan on having a mixtape.
No more mixtapes, guys.
Yeah.
No more mixtapes.
But we did initially when we first started chatting about dating.
Yep.
That was an issue. It wasn't a disagreement.
It wasn't a disagreement. I think it wasn't a disagreement. It was an issue, but it was one of those. This was one or two paths.
Right.
Either that we were going to align our goals or we were not.
Right.
So it wasn't like we had aligned our
and
goals.
We were okay. We were okay either way.
Yes, we were okay either way. Right. Along the same lines, future plans, children.
Nope.
We've never disagreed about children. Who should pay for something? Oh, wait. What?
I'm just going back in memory lane. I'm trying to think if we ever disagreed about who's going to pay for something.
There was that sudden pause, and I thought, am I about to learn something new? Okay.
No, I don't think we ever disagreed.
I don't remember anything like that. No. And then one uses all of the other's money. Stop using up all my money.
Well, you don't make money now.
Yeah, so no, not an argument.
Not an argument.
And I've not been the only breadwinner in the past.
Not in our relationship. No, yeah.
So. All right, so here are the 6 groups in case you want to just kind of group them up. The big buckets are inadequate attention or affection,
right?
Jealousy and infidelity, chores and responsibilities,
got it.
Sex, control and dominance, and future plans and money.
Got it. So those are those 6, and then they kind of listed like 5 in each group.
Just about 5 in each group. Yeah. Right. So, Colorful Humans, let us know how many of these you have encountered in your relationship, no matter the length. New relationship, older relationships, past relationships. It can be really helpful, especially now that we're moving into talking about repair, to first notice if there's certain things that constantly come up for you, right? If this is a thing that either comes up in relationship after relationship or relationship, there might be a root problem there that we need to look into and possibly address. I might want to get coaching. I might want to get therapy for that.
If you can't find that person to do that thing you like, that might be something.
Might be a thing.
Might be a thing.
Might be a thing you might want to start to focus on.
Yeah.
So let's talk about so these are the disagreements. We start to have these disagreements, and now suddenly we're in a fight. And, I don't know. We've had some pretty big blowout fights across time. I don't know that we've had many huge ones.
I wouldn't say many.
But when I
think if we're able to you can mark, when and where those happened. If you're able to keep track of that kind of stuff, you haven't had enough. I know people who can't tell you how many times they fought over what they fought.
That's true.
Because they fight a lot.
That's true. Yeah. I'd also like to point out that fighting with your partner doesn't necessarily mean that what is happening. Let me change that. Having conflict in relational process is not a measure of being unhealthy.
Okay.
The thing that I think it's important to share with all partners is that every partnership, whether it is a healthy partnership or an unhealthy partnership, you're going to have conflict, right?
Yeah, I remember before we got in a relationship and before, or in the beginning of our relationship, in the honeymoon aspect of it, I used to say, no, we don't argue. It's great. It's fine. It's fine. Somebody don't argue, whatever. And I was a firm believer, we won't argue. I had that romantic rose-colored glasses view of love and relationship, and it's great. It's going good. We'll never argue.
And I was in the corner strapping up my gloves. Come on, bring it.
Yeah, and I was avoiding fights and dodging conflicts, and setting up for big. You do that if I had that mentality, and then that set it up for when it was inevitable, when it did happen. I think it got bigger because also I had pent up and stuff in, right, and so. And, not addressing those things because I didn't want to have a conflict. I didn't want to fight. Me trying to avoid a fight. Mm-hmm. That was not healthy.
Yeah.
It was not healthy.
Yeah. And that's where we start to get into the idea of relationship skills, because I think a lot of people hold this idea that if it's the right person, then everything will flow organically.
I had that.
Everything will flow naturally, right? And so that when I get into a fight, I'll know how to fix that, because why wouldn't I? And I'll just keep avoiding it, and then I don't have to worry about it, right?
Yeah.
The challenge is that it really is a skill, and it's something like any skill that we have to practice.
Right.
So that if we don't learn how to navigate conflict, and specifically how to repair damage after conflict has taken place, it's going to be really difficult to stay in long-term partnership with another person.
Right.
So I think for me, one of the best things I learned as a therapist and relationship coach is how to help people to develop these skills so that, we can hold on to those rose-colored glasses that this is never going to happen to us, and we're so compatible and we are so much alike, and whatever that is. During that honeymoon phase, we're like, to be fair, I love the way you blink. Yeah, I love the way you blink. Your ear hair is so sexy. And that's what happens when you're in that part of the relationship, right? Like, woo.
Man, the way she walked from that space over there to that space over there, I could have died.
I've never seen anybody's eyelashes curl just like that.
Yeah. Right.
Once we're out of that, it is going to be important that we learn these repair skills. Now, what do I mean when I say repair? All I mean is anything, and I mean anything that you do or your partner does to stop and de-escalate an argument. That's a repair.
Okay.
Right? And to maintain connection. And what we find, I think I maybe have mentioned this person before, these people before. There's a couple of therapists, they're marriage and family therapists. They've been around in the industry for, I don't know, like 40 or 50 years. And they have what's called a repair checklist. They are the Gottmans.
Yes, we discussed the Gottmans.
We talked about
before.
The Gottmans. And, the Gottmans have kind of crystallized this idea that what we see happening in relational process is, one, people don't want to fight. Right. So that when they do fight and they realize they have created damage, right, the first thing they're going to try to do is to make what's called a repair attempt.
Okay.
Right. And a repair skill is just being able to offer repair attempts and being able to accept repair attempts.
Okay.
Right. So before we get into some specifics of what those are.
All right.
If you think about it in that context, what's one repair attempt that's my go-to? And what's one repair attempt that's your go-to?
Oh, shit.
I know.
Quiz.
Quizzes. Today's all about the quizzes.
Okay. A repair attempt.
So we get into a fight, we get into an argument.
Right.
How do you try to de-escalate? Or how do I try to de-escalate? Whichever is easier.
The easier ones, because I know me. I know what I do.
Absolutely.
I attempt to return to a sense of normalcy.
Ooh.
I attempt to ease back in to a space of calm.
How?
Well, like
what's the thing you actually do? So that's the end goal, but what's the thing that you actually do? Because that's the actual attempt.
The thing that I do would be like return to inquiries of care. Have you eaten? Can I cook? Let me clean. Let me push the home reset button.
Okay.
And try to get when especially. My initial go-to is cleaning.
So that's how I get you to clean? I got to fight with you first?
No, but my initial go-to is cleaning. One, the activity calms me down. It distracts me. It keeps me from thinking about that. Two, I also know that you love a clean home.
I do.
Right?
And so
that lessens that improves the environment.
Okay.
Right? In which we can easier have this conversation.
Okay. So when we're talking about repair attempts, one thing I should know is that if you start cleaning after I'm mad, that's a repair attempt for you. That is really good to know. Okay. I'm surprised you didn't come.
Well, hold on. I did the other part. Now you.
Oh, okay.
in the effort to repair, will do the
opposite. I'll make something dirty so you can clean it.
No! That'd be hilarious if you did. throw the clothing everywhere.
Just toss stuff everywhere. Knock over a can of beans.
No, I think
I call that the cat method.
The cat method of repair. Knock it off the table while you're staring me directly in my eyes.
Directly in your face. Yep, exactly that.
No, you go the route of let's talk, let's communicate.
I do.
Let's
I tend to be pretty direct about that.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Let's figure this out. Let's hash that out.
Mm-hmm.
And then first you check in to see if I'm in a place to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then we usually try to talk about it.
Try to hash it out. Okay. Yeah.
And sometimes that has worked, and sometimes it hasn't.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Again, This is about attempts. It's not always going to work.
Right.
But when it does, it's helpful. So let's talk a little bit about some of the repair skills that you might want to consider. Now, this is going to be unique to every couple. There are different, or to every partnership, there are different ways that you might feel more comfortable naturally. We're going to go on ahead.
Oddly enough, as I look at this list, I do see. I'm just saying, I do see some things that I also do that I didn't realize that I do as well.
Yes. So make sure that as you look at this list, it's not something that's just like, this is not comprehensive.
Right.
Think about really what your partner does to de-escalate and whether or not you recognize it in the moment, right? Like, I'll take the first one on the list, which is use a joke to lighten the mood, but making sure you're not making fun of your partner, right? Now, here's the thing, y'all. Humor is a tricky thing. Sometimes it'll work, and sometimes it's like, ha, Mr. Funny Man. I don't know why you think this is funny, Mr. Funny Man, right? So you got to really think about the situation and how you might lighten that for your partner. Mm-hmm. I think we use humor quite a bit.
I think we do. I don't think we've ever used it as well. I don't think I really ever used it as a way to get out of a fight.
Oh, I do.
I think that something funny will have happened because I don't think I've ever specifically used. I didn't say to myself, I'm going to crack this joke in order to lighten the mood. Mm-hmm. I think that we do that so often, every day, all day, every day, that is my brain trying to return to a sense of normalcy.
Oh, okay, because see, I just crack a joke to break the mood. And usually that works because you are always ready to laugh.
I am always ready to laugh.
So that is a very easy repair go-to of like, okay, I can tell he's annoyed. Let me go ahead and like,
yeah.
See, just like that.
It's just that easy. Yeah.
Yep, just like that, right?
Yeah.
I think you go for the second one, which is asking your partner what your partner needs from you. What do you need from me right now? It doesn't always have to be verbal. It can be like a light touch. I'm just going to touch you gently. Right. I'm going to take a short break. I'm going to remind you that we are doing this together. I'm going to try to offer empathy. I get why you feel this way. Sometimes it requires, I just tell you, I straight up messed up. That was me. I did it. Right. These are,
I'm the problem with me. Because no.
Did we just go Swiftie? How did that happen?
That's amazing how strong that is in the zeitgeist. That just a little. I'm the problem, it's me.
I don't even know where to go from here.
I messed up. Next one on the list.
All right. For all the 13-year-old girls out there.
You're welcome.
Also.
What you doing listening to the podcast?
Why are you listening to my podcast?
Get your parents.
Give it to your parents. Give it to your parents. No, y'all can listen to it too. Listen, hey, if you're 13 years old and you're listening to our podcast, kudos that you are getting all this information early. Yeah. So I'm so glad that you are learning. Tell all your friends. Go ahead and maybe have one of them hit me up so they can put me on TikTok or whatever.
But be aware that this podcast is not for children.
This is an adult podcast. This is an adult podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. So
get parental advisory. Parental
advisories.
We are PG-13. We're PG-13 here.
Okay. So, so you can try to fix things at any point during an argument.
Right.
But almost always I advise the earlier the better. Like as soon as you recognize that the temperature is shifting, you want to bring down the temperature as quickly as possible.
Right.
Part of that is by doing something that we call a gentle startup, right? So if I know I'm getting irritated and blah, 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 listen, I can either come in like hot and I don't know why this phrase stays with me. My dad used to tell me it's like getting it hit in the face with a sack of nickels. I don't know why. But that just seems like a uniquely terrible way to get hit in the face.
Right.
It's like heavy and painful. So you don't want to go in a way that's heavy and painful. I want to try to start up gently if I can, right? So that we don't come in hot, meaning that we are having to lower the temperature from an already difficult place, right? And then I also want to try to respond and recognize when my partner makes a repair attempt. It can be more damaging if my partner makes an attempt to repair and I just turn away. And they make an attempt to repair and I just turn away. Now, what do you do then if your partner makes a repair attempt and you're not ready to repair? I know you've had that circumstance.
yeah,
so
both ways.
What do you do in that instance?
I think in my brain, you communicate, right? You put the ball, to use sports metaphors, you put the ball in the court, like, hey, okay, whatever it is, I'm ready to communicate. If you're not, that's fine.
Sure.
Just, whenever you are, I am open and ready.
Right. And for the person who's not ready, rather than just kind of being the bad guy in the situation, you really also want to communicate, but in a limited way. You want to say something along the lines of, I recognize that you want to get past this right now, or I recognize that you are trying to bring the temperature down, and thank you. And I'm not ready yet to connect with you.
Right.
So I'm
going to you also, and then you also got to be able to let that go. Like, okay.
And then you got to let it go.
Let it go.
You got to let it go.
Because you don't want to get mad that they're not ready, because that possibly you actually really weren't ready.
Right. So, so that's just one aspect. And I think we might even do a series on how to fight fair, because there are a lot of ways that we can have conflict. Some are healthier than others. And, there are also ways that if we engage in unhealthy communication, we can shift in the middle of that engagement so that something healthier is the result of that. So, but for now, I think that's really what I wanted to share about repair as a skill set in particular. I think it's one of those keys that you need to have if you want to have long-term committed partnership. And I think that leads us to our question of the day.
Are you ready for the question?
I'm ready for the question.
All right. We do have some listener questions. Thank you, Up Colorful Humans, for sending us your questions. If you want to send us a question, you can hit us up on our email at rainbowdreamcatchertlp@gmail.com. And of course, you guys know all the links are below in the summary. So if you don't catch it while we say it, just check the summary. All the links are there everywhere that we are. All right. So the question today comes from our dear friend Kira.
Lovely. Shout out Kira. Love you, Kira. Colorful Human.
She just had an amazing performance.
I saw that on Virgin Voyages.
Yes, and
amazing.
And the videos were awesome. And she's a wonderful contortionist and juggler. And Kira asks, what do you think the key is to a happy and healthy relationship?
Yeah. So, what's really interesting is that there's not just a key, there's a set of keys. And I think that's what's so beautiful about relationships is that we, over time, start to learn and refine and make these keys better. So one we talked about today, and that's repair, right? Clearly, the ability to be able to de-escalate arguments and conflicts in a way that allows us to remain loving is one key. I think communication is another key. Being able to have honest communication in ways that I both am able to share and also to receive, that I can feel heard and I can create a space for my partner to also feel heard. I think trust, building that basis of reliability and accountability and boundaries and trusting support, I think is really important. The ability to be flexible, I think. As you and I have grown across time, I think it's fair to say that we are different people than we were 12 years ago.
Oh, easily. Absolutely.
Right? And so there has to be a willingness to compromise, not so far that I compromise my own values and integrity and who I am, but compromise so that we can continue to grow together as individuals who have had these, probably by the time we're adults, millions of individual experiences that make up who we are, how we come to be here, how I even feel in my body today, right? So to do that while growing alongside another individual, possibly, growing other individuals, right? Like growing other human beings, in and of itself is a skill, right? So I think lastly is just being able to hold a positive vision of my partner and our future together. Is also a really important skill to have. So
the keys to healthy relationship should look like a janitor's keys in middle school.
Yep.
Big old fat ring and all the things.
All the things. And when I find new good things, I add them.
Add that key. Add that key. And if
and then some keys will fall away and I don't need them anymore. I need to go ahead and let those go.
Let it go. Let it go. That door is gone.
Yep, absolutely.
When you move apartments, you don't take that key with you.
Right. Exactly that. So for folks who want to learn more about relationship repair and some of the skills that some of the tactics that you might recognize in how you de-escalate arguments or how your partner de-escalates arguments, you can go on ahead and there's a quick 1 or 2 pager about relationship repair on Rainbow Dreamcatcher coaching. So that you can go ahead and learn a little bit more and perhaps do an exercise with your partner to understand better how you all can repair your relationship. Website? I believe it is rainbowdreamcatchercoaching.com.
Okay. We'll have links, of course.
We'll have links. It might be wrong. I don't know, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm not really tech savvy, but we're going to figure this out together. So.
Right. Awesome. Well,
yeah. Wonderful. And, I don't know, most of y'all can't see, but my dear sweet puppy, Fox, has decided that he wants to be in the video. So
asleep.
There is a snoozing puppy in my arms. If you want to see that, that's available.
You can go to our Patreon. We've established a Patreon for Rainbow Dreamcatcher, the Love Podcast.
Fabulous.
For those who want to subscribe to the Patreon, you can just simply go to rainbowdreamcatcherthelovepodcast.com.
That one.
That'll take you directly to our Patreon. I am in the process of uploading all of our previous episodes and new episodes as they come up. So all the episodes will be loaded there. You can join the community for free. To get access to the videos. I think it's just the first tier of payment. But as you go on there, you'll see each tier you get a little more with each extra tier. So depending upon your level of involvement or desired involvement, there is a tier for you.
And let us know more about what you want to see from the podcast, what you want to see on the website, what resources are going to be helpful for you. We're really going to be building out something super comprehensive for our colorful humans who are listening and who really want to improve their relationships. We want to make sure that you get a lot of tools, that you each week get something that you can actually work with about how to support a good, healthy, and happy relationship.
Yeah, we're not only entertaining, we're also educational. We thrive in that environment. We are edutainment.
Edutainment for education and entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
All right.
So listen to, and then of course send us in your letters, your emails. Send your emails into again rainbowdreamcatcher@tlp@gmail.com.
Love your
Tell
questions.
us your stories. We'd love to hear from you. If this resonated at all, please reach out and let us know. Tell us. We need the engagement. We need the numbers. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe there.
Yep. Help us with the algorithm, guys. Every little bit helps with the algorithms, and we appreciate those folks that take that small step. Thank you.
And we decided to get to that point we want to go to sponsors. You need to have those numbers to back you up. So subscribing doesn't cost a thing. We'll be happy to have you there. And of course, give us a rating on all the podcast areas. We'd love to all that good stuff. But until then,
This has been
Rainbow Dreamcatcher, the Love Podcast.
See you next time.
Bye. Bye.